No, I get it. I get it. I mean, whatever. Let her eat.
All right, here we go. Kind of a special little deal here. Myself, Chris Zaldain, and Kyle Patrick. We've got the tri-screen going here. Kyle Patrick has not been fishing much over the last couple of months, but we decided to pull him on. We've got the deep dive app pulled up. We got Kyle from home, which isn't too far away from Lake Champlain, which is where the first Bassmaster EQ tournament of 2025 will be this week, matter of fact, Kyle Patrick. And we brought you on to give your expertise kind of using the deep dive app on what to expect for the Bassmaster EQ, coming up here in just a couple of days. I've got Nebo wanting to say hello down below here.
Yeah. He's fired up. Come on.
Absolutely. And we're just going to kind of go through a couple of different topics and really get in depth on wind effects, water clarity maps, etc. And just kind of give us your prediction, since you're such an expert in this area. You live, what, 2 hours away from Lake Champlain?
Yep. Yeah. It's not far at all. And, I think upstate New York is a totally different animal when it comes to fishing. So I like to think I'm pretty good in that region.
You are.
And what's cool is now with this technology and, obviously the deep dive guys have done an incredible job. This is a very helpful tool, especially when you're fishing big lakes, Finger Lakes, Great Lakes, any lake in New York where there's a lot of wind. And now with the new rules that we're under, man, this is going to be a huge deal all year next year for not only the Opens guys, EQs guys, but the elites especially. Now you need to use every tool at your disposal. So breaking lakes down like this, I think, is really helpful, for everyone watching, to learn how to sort of, basically improve your odds at catching big fish and more frequently.
Yeah. So before getting right into it, you and I are both on the sidelines this week, but it is so much fun. I mean, you've been watching the last couple of Elite Series events. You're dealing with the medical condition, and you will be back stronger than ever in 2026. We all know that. But yeah, instead of it being like every other, YouTube channel out there, like our predictions and patterns and this and that, how about we use the actual data, that comes from NOAA, that comes from sources all across the world into this app. And, let's really dive deep into what we can expect here in September. Lake Champlain, we've never seen really Lake Champlain in September. So right off the giddy, Kyle Patrick, let's dig right into this.
Yeah. What I want you to do, Chris, just to dive right in, no pun intended, deep dive, baby. I want you to hone in on I want you to put Plattsburgh in the middle of that screen.
Yes.
And cut off from Ty right now, and we can go into that a little bit. But the main section, you're looking at the Inland Sea, the New York side, the Vermont side, and
Inland Sea.
This tournament starts September 19th, correct?
Yes.
18th,
19th, and 20th.
Okay, so just from a wind standpoint, I think right off the bat on the 18th, there's going to be some wind, but it's not going to be one of those deals where you base your whole tournament day off of the wind. Now, what's important is you have little micro gusts that the deep dive app shows really well. Like in the morning, at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, you have some wind pickup. It seems like it kind of hits the middle of the lake there. Now that's just a key thing to see for a bite window early morning, right?
Totally.
Right. Like that's something you might get to the boat ramp. The lake's pretty flat, but you don't realize that, 2 hours later, the wind was pounding into that point.
Good point. So we're just making up at that point. Yes, exactly.
Right. Like in the moment, you're like, okay, there's no wind on that point, but man,
when the puck drops, when the puck drops 7 o'clock, 7:30 or so, it looks like it's calmed down. But that's a good point. An hour and a half, 2 hours previous, it was gassing.
Yeah. And that's a huge deal. You run past that point. Someone that looks at the deep dive app, they hit that point and they catch 2 4.5-pound smallmouth, which are big ones on Champlain. And those fish tend to sort of feed around that wind. I've found a lot of the times, like whether they're pelagic or not, like the wind is a huge deal on Champlain. especially because it creates current, and current is obviously a major pattern. I was explaining to you off air. You know, the bite I had on in the Toyota series, a lot of it was wind dependent. And it can hurt, but also can be very helpful.
A lot of people don't realize on like a Lake Champlain, and you could explain this a lot better, but I mean, as I zoom in and out of Lake Champlain, this is a giant lake. I mean, this is bigger than the Tennessee River. This thing is absolutely giant. And when you have these huge bodies of water like this right here, I mean, this is the inland sea area right here. You know, when the wind blows a particular direction, it filters. Let me back out here. It filters all that current into these little causeways. That happens to be an area I did really well in one year. But all these little causeways, it's so people can't comprehend if you're from Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, you've never been to upstate New York right in your backyard. You don't realize how much the wind current like predicts like the day of fishing, like hands down, period. You mentioned in the Toyota tournament, you had to have a specific wind. And yeah, this kind of helps, you know, kind of lay out and map out the day. So speaking of wind, Kyle Patrick, I mean, that's Thursday at 7:30. As you look at 9 a.m., these guys, the EQ guys, are going to be dealing with these little micro gusts like you're talking about. So Gusts,
sorry to interrupt you. Let's not forget to mention how critical this app can be for sort of understanding getting around throughout the day. I look at this at night and I go, okay, holy smokes. I have to plan not to do that much running around noon.
Yeah.
And because if I can save 45 minutes of fishing time and leave an hour later and hug that, if you notice, if you zoom in where the gut is.
I was just going to say that. So this right here is the takeoff area of Plattsburgh. We all know that. We've all seen those tournaments. When we exit here, we absolutely get blasted by that south wind most of the time. This point, there's been several boats sunk on this point right here. Most people go to this right here to go to the inland sea, and most people hug this shoreline right here, and for good reason. I mean, think about this. I mean, that's you know, you look at this gust of wind that's coming right up the gut here. I mean, if you hug this little area right here, you're golden. But that's a great point right there. Just try to stay out of the wind. And
I got to tell you, that's accurate. That is, it's amazing how
accurate it is.
It's amazing how accurate this technology is, because I've fished on Champlain, but mostly traversed it so much that I know in my mind how accurate that is, because you can be hugging that point and they're like, how is it not windy here? But then there's 5 footers out by that point, and it's the truth. I mean, that point is so dangerous for that reason.
You know what's funny is the last tournament we had there last year, whatever it was, and here's our takeoff, here's our takeoff area right here. And like I said, most people would come out of this gut area, and I saw all of the veterans in green. They all hugged this shoreline right here. And then like some of the newcomers, some of the rookies, like they were like straight out, and they tried to get on this point right here, and they were absolutely smoked right here. Matter of fact, I think that's where a boating accident was, somewhere in that area right there.
Yeah, it was.
But to avoid that, the red, to avoid that red kind of danger zone is huge when you're running around.
And timing of it all. Like if you say you have a late check-in, you have like a 5:15. Well, they won't, but pretend it's an open. You go to 4:30, boom, you're in the clear.
Yeah,
totally, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I'll let you get into the next day, Chris.
Yeah, so that's kind of day one for the guys. Speaking of wind, and we face this all the time as professional anglers. Hey, look, day one was awesome. Cracked a 20-pound bag. I hope I could do it tomorrow. Well, in this particular week, we're going to have a wind direction change here. It's going to be from a south wind, 5 to 8, maybe 10 mile an hour. And then on Friday, here we go, at 7, 8 o'clock at blast off, north wind, dude. Cold north wind, gusts to 15 plus miles per hour. And that is gas. I know you've been out on that lake when it looked like that.
Man, that is like, people have to understand the distance between the point and Plattsburgh there and the gut. Like that distance, it doesn't seem like a lot in an app. You put your boat on that point, you almost won't. In fact, I would be shocked if they went. to be completely
no,
honest.
that's true. Yeah, you're right.
I really would, like, based on this data, which is 100% accurate. I mean, barring anything crazy happening, like a crazy wind direction chip. I mean, because it is somewhat far away, right? I mean, no, that's gonna be accurate. It's not gonna.
This area right here on a south wind. I don't know if you know, is like the death trap of all.
Yeah. You know what though? You say that. What's crazy about that wind is by takeoff, it's going to be completely flat. I mean, you look at Plattsburgh, they're going to be like, "Hey, make the best of it. It's the EQs. Let's go."
We're good.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's going to change the deal a lot. Like you'll see.
So tell me, so like, what do you see? Like, so like on day one, for example, 5 to 8 mile an hour south wind, we're good to go. What are you going to see? You're going to see a lot of guys doing the scope deal out for big smallmouth, out deep. The largemouth, you said, so the water level as well. So that's another thing. That's another thing to look at here. Is let's go back to home. And let's look at our water levels for a natural lake with this much water in it. It is on a decline, big decline.
Insane. It's like 3 feet low. Like legitimately, I don't know what is it? 275.
275 right now.
275. That is unprecedented. That is the most unprecedented, water drop we've seen. I mean, we haven't had solid rain in New York, and I can't tell you how long. Even my home lake, my little lake.
Really?
Oh, there's a community dock, and usually I can see about that far underneath it, and you're looking at like full 3-4 feet under it. It's unprecedented. It really is unprecedented. Like, where you have to idle out when you launch at Plattsburgh?
Yeah.
You're having to trim all the way up trolling motor out to start your engine. So that is going to be a big change on the largemouth side of things. But I think, again, wind direction and seeing what the future wind direction is, but also like what's going to happen leading up to the event could dictate where water moves versus where there's going to be no water, especially on a Great Lake. When the wind is blowing heavily, you've heard guys talk about how it sucks all the water out.
Yeah. And even more so than the 2.75 negative. Yeah.
Right. So that's something that is helpful with this.
Would you say most of it goes down like right there on Lake Champlain?
Yeah. Yep. As far as the smallmouth bite, absolutely.
Yeah, all of the smallmouth, largemouth, all of it. We have
aside from Plattsburgh, and then like obviously Ed Lochran did, the crazy
down further south,
new stuff. And I think that's what's so cool about this lake is, yes, that's where most of it goes down, but it's so vast that I don't think people even know. Like, there's a lot of new things that people haven't figured out yet, I think. Because you only get 3 days down there, or you're a local and you get set in your ways and you don't go explore some new little area or something. Like it's that big to where it's hard to fish everything.
With that, we covered the wind thing. A lot of guys will be doing the jig head minnow thing as long as their transducer stays in the water and some maybe these protected pockets and some of these calmer areas. But you're going to see jerk baits, crankbaits, old school fishing. Chatterbait works really, really well on Lake Champlain, even for those big smallmouth, chasing the wind, chasing some of these windy banks here. But let's move all the way down and move to the water clarity. So, myself, I've been around for 14, 15 years now. Ty, you got to go to Ty. You got to go to Ty. All my buddies say, you got to go to Ty. You got to go to Ty. I know that's like a time of year thing, but will Ticonderoga play in September?
I don't see how it doesn't. And well, with the wind situation, forget the wind situation.
Right.
I think it does because of how fat the largemouth get in the fall and how they put the feed bag on, man. And like, there's a big population of largemouth there. They're gonna bite.
Yep.
No question. You just have to figure out what little areas they're on. And honestly, as far as the water clarity goes, it's low enough. Like that's pretty clear for that area.
Yeah.
Like,
so let me go to the water clarity feature here. But before I do that, I just want to go. So here's takeoff right here.
I'm ahead of you. I'm already on.
Tell me how long this run right here
Man,
to the mouth of Ty takes on just a normal day, like it's just flat,
on
wide
a
open.
normal day.
Yeah.
Mm,
So Plattsburgh all the way down to here. It's
I
like
would
50
give it.
minutes or so, about 50 minutes or so, 50
Yeah,
miles.
well, it just depends on where you're going. I'm
Into
just looking
Ty.
at it. Yeah, it depends how far you're going, right? Like that's the biggest thing is, gosh, I mean, it is such a run.
I would say that's like at least 45
I would say
minutes.
50 minutes to the bridge.
Yeah, to the bridge, right to the mouth of it right there. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you want to go target giant largemouth 20 to 25-pound bags certain times a year,
Yep.
let's get rid of this.
Give yourself an hour and 30 minutes minimum each way. I would, just to be safe.
Just to that bridge right there. There's a bridge right here. Just to there, flat 45 minutes to 50
I would
minutes.
say 45. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's switch from wind effects, Kyle Patrick, to water clarity. And this is the big difference here. I mean, Lake Champlain being a deep, clear, natural lake, most of this water is clear up on the north end. But as you go down here,
and that's what's cool. It almost looks like there isn't data for the lake, but it's because it's all so clear and we have not had a single drop of rain in upstate New York. People watching this have to understand how little rain we've had. None.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's accurate.
Yep.
It looks like it's just blue. I mean, you can see some subtle details, like if you go, all the way on the north end.
So, and just so everyone is clear, so this information is up to date just within a day or two. They grab all the information from satellite imagery and they build out these water clarity maps. I know you were a huge proponent when we were talking a couple of months ago, dude, you got to have the water clarity for up north. I need to know whether I'm fishing for largemouth or fishing for smallmouth. This whole area right here is the Ticonderoga area. So this whole area, and this alone is what, 25 miles or so? I mean,
you can get way
easily,
up there. Yeah.
easily. And you could go even further back in that stuff. But this is where the big giant largemouth live. They have tournaments down here all the time, and it takes huge, huge, huge bags to win down here. You will see guys in the EQ going down, making that run. Maybe
I think
not
day
so
one
much on
for sure.
two. Yeah, day one for sure. But as you can see here, like towards the center of Ticonderoga, it's going to be a little bit more stained, and that brings up another point and feature. I'm going to go from water clarity to water inflows, and it just shows you all the little inflows and tributaries that run into this area. But Streamflow is a big one. Streamflow shows you exactly where that influence is. There's been a lot of tournaments won right in this area right here. I've seen several tournaments, several guys over the years. This little flow area right here, really good area. But yeah, that little Streamflow feature really shows kind of where the influence comes from, and that's why you see all the stained water going back to clarity.
And what's crazy is how accurate that should be,
isn't it?
It's a low flow rate, and usually that's a high flow rate area. And that's, sorry, I'm looking at my separate little phone here, looking at it more closely. But yeah, no, that's really cool. And that area is good.
So one little sneak feature I use, especially on these Texas lakes around here. So we're in the water clarity map here. I go to the filter, and if I'm targeting like ultra clear water, I'll just scroll this feature over, and it'll show me at the very top of Ticonderoga. There's some up there. There's some at the top, as you can see right as I scroll right. There's some clear water there, but as I get to, let's say I want to target. So let's say I feel like flipping a black and blue jig that day. I'm going to go find my dirtiest water possible, and it's going to show me exactly where the dirtiest water is. And that's kind of in the center there, where it kind of lingers in the middle of Ticonderoga on some of these bends and stuff like that. But the filter tool is really sweet too. That one, a lot of guys aren't taking advantage of. And I use that here in Texas. I want to go throw a frog. I'm going to need a little bit more stained water, use the filter, and go fish those types of banks. If I want to go do the minnow thing or the swim bait thing, clearest water. Boom. Really cool.
I was gonna say same for the guys that want to throw a minnow. Like you slide that to clear, and you see just how much water is in play for those giant smallmouth.
Yep. So let's move back up the lake. We covered Ty here. Let's get out of the muddy water and let's focus back on this clear water. And as you can see, Lake Champlain, that's 45, 50 miles of awesome clear water. Nebo likes clear water as well. So just prediction. So weight-wise, give me a prediction weight-wise. We covered some of the features here, but if someone was using the app and he goes out and says, I'm going to target clear water, I'm going to go into the inland sea, I'm going to look for a 20-plus pound bag smallmouth each and every day. How is that guy going to do it, and how much weight is he going to have?
Yeah, man. I mean, here's the trouble with not mixing in largemouth. And now this time of year is different. I think it'll be probably all smallmouth just because they get so fat this time of year.
I think so too.
I mean, they just get so big. They put the feed bag on. They're going to be swimming all around. I think, they're going to throw a minnow. I think maybe someone like dragging a jig, right? Dragging a football jig. But the minnow guys are going to catch them. They're going to catch them really, really well. And they're going to have, I would say 20 to 23 of smallmouth, which is a lot, but that's just because it's fall. You're going to have those inflated weights because the alewives are just getting chewed upon.
Yes.
And that clear water is where they do it, and the inland sea is where they do it. And so I bet you out of 100 guys, let's call it, I'm going to say 70% of them are going to be in the inland sea. Literally, probably more. That might be,
which is this right here, guys. And let me tell you, that inland sea is a giant lake in its own. I mean, you could have all 135 guys. I looked today. I mean, the EQs, it's a 135 boat field, and you could have all 135 boats in there, and all of them will have like 18 to 20 pounds of smallmouth. Plenty to go around. But like you said earlier, I mean, I think wind is going to be the biggest factor, and that's where that cool tournament strategy comes into play. Where do I start on the first day? I know the wind's coming day 2. Where am I going to hide from the wind if they don't cancel it and try to back my 18 to 20 pound bag of smallies up with another 20 pound bag of smallies?
I want to touch on one thing, Chris, and that is you look at the water clarity and you click filter on your deal here, and you want to see, go to clear just for all the guys that want
ultra clear water.
I want you to scroll on that 30-day history. So what's really cool is you have the ability to say, where has this water stayed clear for 30 days?
Boom.
And
smart.
That's a big deal when you know what I'm saying? Because and this is stuff that we never knew before. Guess what? You only know that stuff if you break the rules in tournament bass fishing. I can't ask homeboy. I can't ask homeboy how hey, has Toledo been was it really dirty 30 days ago? I'm breaking the rules. I'm going on here and I'm sliding it back and going, dude, the inland sea has pretty much stayed, aside from a couple days. And what's funny is I'm looking at that week and a half ago, there was some rain. There was like a little micro storm that rolled through New York, and that's what it had. So that's a great feature. Great feature is knowing how long has the water stayed clear, because then those smallmouth are going to just be in that area feeding because they're visual feeders and alewives and awesome just stuff going on.
That is awesome, dude. And since you brought that up as well, I just wanted to bring up another point here. I'm going to go to Streamflow. And the last elite tournament that was there were like literally on day 2 after a giant rain. And it's hard to tell here, but I'm going to zoom in as much as I can. There's a little causeway right here. And dude, there were literally like 12 of us that started here. I was leading the tournament, I believe, that day, but I decided to start there because we had a massive rain, because that right there, this stream right here, is the influence that pushed all that water, all that dirty water. In that time of year, the fish were liking current. They were liking current seams, stuff like that. And all that water got pushed through here and out this outlet. And that's why 12 of us started there. And I was catching them like every single cast, dude. And Champlain is such an awesome place. You grew up fishing there. You grew up fishing all around there. like I said, if you're from Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, you just can't comprehend how good the fishing is up there. And I think the EQ guys are going to show us exactly like we've seen the last few times we were at Champlain. The minnow stuff, you could even do some glide bait fishing, flipping, whatever you want, dude. Giant
Whatever you
sacks.
want. That's what I love, man. And honestly, that's part of the reason I'm excited to go there next year with us with no forward facing. That's gonna be a sick tournament. Sick tournament.
It is.
Oh my God. I'm excited for that one. I gotta tell you that right now.
That's surprising, but that's for another show. We'll have to do the Bilge podcast for that conversation on that whole thing.
Well, it's different when I know a lake, right?
Yes,
I know the lake and I'm dialed in.
Yep.
And
I knew you were going to say that.
Will be a big factor. I'm excited because guess what? I know I love fishing shallow in upstate New York, and it sets up right. That's going to be
cool. Yeah. So we just covered a few of the features that Kyle and I love using when we're out there fishing the tour. Because like Kyle said, you can't call the guy that's hosting you that week, the local guy. You can't say, oh yeah, where's the clearest water, or where's the wind going to be the heaviest. And that's when an app like the Deep Dive app really helps out. But yeah, we covered a lot here. There are other tools in the app, like bait selection tools, weather, of course, etc. And it's really cool to lay your head down at night before the night of the tournament and go on your phone and be like, okay, I am going to come up with a game plan and not just go out there and fish like a chicken with its head cut off. I'm going to make a game plan. If things don't work out, we'll adjust that game plan, but let's stick to this because it makes sense looking at the data.
100%. It's such a cool feature. All the features on here, especially being that it's your one-stop app for everything you need. I don't have to be bouncing around to whatever, some weather app. It's got it all right here condensed. And it's hard to beat that, man. All the little feeding windows, the moon phases. I had to go all over the place to find that stuff and to have it all, the pressure. This is an app truly that's built by anglers for anglers, and it shows in little situations, just like we were talking about. It just shows. So it's super cool that we have this feature, and I hope it stays legal on the Elite Series because it is an advantage.
And with that, I don't know when this video is coming out, but if some of the EQ guys are listening to this, you better hop on it. We'll be watching you guys, and good luck to all 135, I think, ish guys, and 10 of them will make it to the Bassmaster Elite Series with us next year, and then 3 of them will make it to the Classic, where you and I are both officially Bassmaster Classic Expo qualified.
Yes, we are, and I am salty.
Kyle, Patrick, that was a lot of fun, man. Thank you for hanging out with us. Come down and do some hunting with me down here in Texas. Don't want to get your heart rate up too much, but I hope you have a good off season, brother, and we will be in touch. I really appreciate you hanging out.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, dude. Thanks.